Here we are, still talking about oneness. A day at a time. So this morning, a few principles to help get us anchored in the Word that was written by Ernest Holmes more than 100 years ago, penned as What We Believe. If you'd like to know where we got this list of principles from, and that you may be able to follow along with me and with us every Sunday. We like to highlight the principles, or I like to highlight the principles so that you can have something to take home with you. And to further provide some explanation to give it a greater context. The message, to give the principles a greater context through the message. So this morning we are working with spiritual principle number 1. We believe in God, the living Spirit, Almighty One, indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. We believe that this one manifests itself in and through all creation, yet it is not absorbed by its creation. Spiritual principle number 2, we believe in the individualization of the Spirit in us, and that all people are individualizations of the one Spirit. Spiritual principle number 8, we believe that the universal Spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. In doing so and receiving that which we hold in mind, we are able then to, when we are able to hold a new thought in mind, we are able then to change our conditions, which is spiritual principle number 9. And when we change our conditions, we begin to live in a heavenly state. So, as I was thinking about peace this morning, it dawned on me, or I was thinking about it in these terms, that we all are here. We come to places like this so that we can experience or come to know something about peace. Peace, however, it comes with a price. Is what I need you to know this morning. And its currency is not lip service. You got to do something. I got to do something. Its currency is more than lip service. Joel Goldsmith says that peace internalized must be externalized. Peace externalized, love internalized, joy internalized, abundance internalized, must be externalized. It has to be. So we got to figure out how to get it in here so we can have it out there. And the getting it in here is not a matter of repeating words or simply affirming words. In the science of mind, it is said that if you change your thinking, you will change your life. It doesn't suggest that you might change your life. You will. Change your thinking implies that at some point in time, those of us who truly want to change our lives, at some point in time, our changing will change. Our thinking will change. Period. Period. What I'm talking about is more than the mere swapping of words. I'm not talking about substituting one word for another word in the act of changing your thinking. It's more than that. Change thought is a result of insight and revelation as a result of our practice, meditation, contemplation, prayer. Divine insight then flows through you and to you, and then that becomes the material, the idea that you use to change your mind, not the substitution of a word. So, in this changing of our mind and in changing of our thinking, we've been talking about it in these terms this year. We said it is our work to get clear about what we used to believe and to be very certain about what we now believe. When you are changing your thinking, that is what you are doing. And when we can change our thinking, when we can hold a new concept and a new idea, we move from fear into rejoicing. From fear to rejoicing. But some of the things that we used to believe can be difficult for us to let go of. A new perception and a new concept means that everything that contradicts and opposes the new concept has got to go. Little by little, it's got to go. In Ernest Holmes' book, Living Without Fear, on page, let me get my pages right here, 125, he says this. No, I don't want to read this right now. I don't want to read that right now. Let me get back into, let me just stay where I am. My energy is a little bit off, y'all. I'm sorry. So, these new concepts, everything that opposes these new concepts, our new perception, has got to go. So our theme for the month, Prove Me Right. It extends us the invitation to prove that we have shifted our perception of God. This is the perception that we are changing. This is the new idea and the new concept that we, you and I, we are coming to grab a hold of. It is that we are shifting our perception from a God out there that can do something for me right here. We're moving our perception from a God out there who might sometimes show me favor and might sometimes not show me favor. We're moving from having the faith in God and coming to realize that we are to have the faith of God. This is no small concept. It's a big, big concept. It's a big, big shift. And when we hold on to our old concepts, there is a tendency then to personalize God. There's a tendency then to categorize conditions and declare it to be so. When we understand the principles of science of mind, we understand that the law is impersonal. You can't categorize conditions. The law simply accepts what you hold in mind. It's impersonal. We are coming to understand that the law knows nothing of good or bad, big or little, as Reverend Sheila used to always remind us. It knows nothing of this. It knows nothing of good and evil. It is just a law that accepts our thoughts, the things that we impress upon it. So, when we hold on to our old ideas and personalizing God, we tell ourselves that there's a God that can act for my good. A God that can change you and not me. That's personalizing God. I had a friend who used to say to me, oh my God. Don't you just love it when you can say, my God, as if God was only going to respond to me on my behalf, regardless of what it means to you. No, God is not personalized. We are here to come to learn and to accept that God is personified through us. It is seeking to express through us. It is seeking to have its experience of love and joy and peace through us. The coin for peace is more than lip service. So, for those of us who have the faith of God, what is there for us to prove? We are to prove that our faith is in its proper place. We don't place our faith in appearances. We place our faith in power. What we fear is appearances. So we don't place our faith in appearances. We place our faith in power. Appearance is the absence of God. When we are fearing, it is because something is appearing out there where God seems to be absent. This is fear. We put our faith in the power, not in the appearance. And when God is omnipower, omnipresent, omniscience, what other power is there but one? We don't put our faith in what we can see. We put our faith in what we can't see. We don't put our faith in what's temporary. We put our faith in what's eternal. Because what's temporary is temporary. We say stuff like this, that God's will be done. Well, when our faith is misplaced, what we're really saying is, if God won't do it, then I will. Misplaced faith. Misplaced faith. If God don't do it, I will. What you call that will? Meddling. Meddling. Right? Down south, that's what they used to tell you. Quit meddling. Always meddling. And then what would they follow it with, Carletta? Always meddling in somebody else's business. Quit meddling. Ernest Holmes, in the Science of Mind textbooks, he writes that, that someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear, the fear that God will not answer our prayers. And in the Science of Mind textbook on page 156, Ernest Holmes says this: someone has said that the entire world is suffering from one big fear, the fear that God will not answer our prayers. But let us analyze the fears which possesses us and see if this is true. The fear of lack is nothing more than the belief that God does not and will not supply us with whatever we need. The fear of death is the belief that the promises of eternal life may not be true. The fear of loss of health, loss of friends, loss of property, all arise from the belief that God is not all that we claim: omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresent. But what is fear? Nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith. Faith misplaced. A belief in two powers instead of one. A belief that there can be a power opposed to God whose influence and ability may bring us evil. In other words, to correct all the evils of the world would be but to have the positive faith, faith rightly placed, a faith that lays hold of the integrity of the universe, the beneficence of God, and the unity of all life. Nevertheless, we cannot have faith in that which we do not measure. We cannot have faith in that which we do not in some measure understand. We wish a faith based on the knowledge that there is nothing to fear. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The thought of faith molds the undifferentiated substance and brings into manifestation the things which was fashioned in the mind. This is how faith brings our desires to pass. Tell your neighbor, put your faith where it belongs. Put your faith where it belongs. Our faith belongs in the one power. Our faith belongs in understanding that God is omniscient. God is omnipotent. God is everywhere present. Don't put your faith where it don't belong and thinking that what's out there is greater than what's in here. If you can be made to believe that what's out there is greater than what's in here, your faith is misplaced. If you can be made to believe that what she said and what he said and what they did and what might happen is greater, if this is where you have placed your faith, you have misplaced your faith. Put your faith where it belongs. Put it in its proper faith. The book suggests that we need to understand something about faith. Well, what is there for understand? We put our faith in the things that we unconsciously worship. We put our faith in the people. We put our faith in what the people say. We put our faith in the opinions of people, and then we worship it. We worship their words. What did they say? We worship their opinions. What did the review say? Put your faith where it belongs. If you can be made to believe that there's two when there's only one, God is omniscient, God is omnipotent, and God is everywhere. If you could be made to believe that there is two, if you could be made to believe that something is wrong, that something needs to be healed, that somebody needs to be changed, you got your faith in the wrong place. That's two, not one. Them and God. We worship things, and in some instances, these things become the God that we worship. I'm talking about anything that can make you believe that there's two when there's only one. We worship the job. We worship the money. We worship the jewelry. We worship the car. We worship the money. We worship the money. Come on, let's talk about it. We worship the money. If you could be made to believe that money is your God, you've moved into thinking that there is two when there's only one. We worship things. Let us further consider what Ernest Holmes says in his book, Living Without Fear. He says, no one imposes fear upon us. Rather, we create it for ourselves in our own thoughts and our own emotions. And what we need to realize is that we have just as much freedom to eliminate fear as we have in creating this. This means that you've got to accept the truth. And there is where the problem lies. Because many of us don't want to accept the truth. The law is infallible. And our use of it when we make right use of it. Ernest Holmes says something like, yes, the right thoughts, true thoughts create true conditions, as it is that false thoughts will create false conditions. And then he follows back around and he asks, well, what do you want? You want the truth, or do you want that which is false? Many of us are thinking, we want the truth. Okay, do you? When it tells you stop? Do you? When it tells you don't worry about the money? Do you want the truth when it says you've placed your faith in a place that's not proper? It's the truth. It's the truth. The price for peace is more than lip service. We've got to accept the truth. We have a hard time accepting the truth. And if you can't accept the truth, you can't change your mind. And if you can't change your mind, you can't change your life. Here's the truth. He said, no one imposes fear upon us. The truth then is, whatever you are fearing in your life, if it's not imposed upon you, then don't take it personal. Amen. Don't take the health challenge personal. Don't take what she said personal. Don't take what they didn't do personal. This is the truth. Don't take what happened personal. It wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. The law is impersonal. How can it be personal? It happened. No one imposes fear upon us. We fear because we take things personal. Remember, if God don't, I will. Imposing my will, imposing our will. We don't quite understand the principle then. Let us be honest with ourselves if that's what we're doing. Trying to impose our will, taking things personal. Let me help y'all further understand this in case y'all like, she tripping up there. Listen, taking things personal. We want everything to happen according to our terms. It's the truth. You got your faith placed in the wrong place. You know what I mean, Jackie? Yes, sir. Listen, I need them to do what I want them to do. You know what I'm saying? I need y'all to do what I tell y'all to do. I need spirit to quicken this. This is taking way too long. There you go, meddling again. In the teachings of Ptah-hotep, the Kemetic teachings, the oldest teachings of the world, in it says, don't scheme against people. I didn't say that for y'all. I said that for me. Don't scheme against people. Y'all might be thinking, well, who the people? You know who the people is. The people that you're close to, that you spend a lot of time with. Yes. The scheme ain't gonna work. The schemes don't work. Taking things personal, implying I will, it ain't gonna work. I need them to do what I want them to do. It ain't gonna work. There's a price to be paid for peace. And it's more than lip service. It's mighty. Because the moment that we move into scheming is the moment we've misplaced our faith. It is the moment that we've misplaced our faith. Prove me right. If I can be made to believe that there is two when there is one, I haven't proved a thing. Maybe I've mouthed a thing, but I haven't proved a thing. Our work is to prove the thing. Yes. Prove it. Prove that we can live with just that tomorrow our life will be just a little less fearful. Tomorrow we'll have just a little bit less anxiety. Tomorrow we'll have a little more faith, a little more joy, a little more peace. Tomorrow, a little less fear, a little less doubt, a little less worrying. Put your faith where it belongs. That's all I got. Come on, practitioners. Join me as we come together and anchoring the words and the songs, the loves, the hugs, all of it. Let us turn within. Get our minds on something, the one thing that is omniscient, omnipotent, and everywhere present. It is forever seeking to personify itself in us, through us, and as us. Let us come to know that we are ever one with it. It's peace already given to us. Let us understand here and now that we are to accept it. It's joy already given to us. Let us in this moment come to accept it without reservation, without holding back. As we come to this truth, as we come to believe this truth, to embody this truth and to accept this truth, I affirm for you, as I affirm for myself, that everything unlike it is being nullified, returned into the nothingness from whence it came. I know for you, as I know for myself, there is only one life. There is only one mind. There is only one power. That power is greater than any appearance, any sense of absence, any idea that God is not present. There is only one presence, and it is never an absence. At the very center of my life and at the very center of your life, and it is without circumference. It is everything that we can imagine it to be and everything that we have yet to imagine it to be. It is more, it is greater, it is grander than any idea of fear that we might be holding on to. It is more than a feeling, an appearance of illness. It is more than the absence of abundance. It is abundance itself. It is health itself. It is wealth itself. It is joy itself. It is peace itself. Let us declare with more than the changing of mere words, but a great acceptance and understanding that it already is. Let the one who's praying accept it to be so. It is so. It is so. I declare, let us have eyes to see, ears to hear and the heart to know that all of my needs are met. I do give great thanks for this truth today, for this moment of pause to move into clarity. I do give great thanks for the opportunity to place our faith, for me to place my faith where it belongs, in one, not two. I am grateful and moved into a place where we just simply come together, gathering the words, taking it within ourselves, where we know truly that the word becomes flesh. It already is. It's already done. Everything is already all right. It is. Let us come together in agreement then by saying, and so it is. So as we journey on throughout our week, let us keep before us that we are to prove something. That means to put your faith where it belongs. And so it is.